If you're a fan of Dragon Ball or if you've ever watched the series, you know that the power difference is pretty drastic throughout the arcs. Even in 2023, almost 2024, people still debate whether Naruto could blow up a planet, while Vegeta did it with his finger. The power cliffing gets so insane throughout the series that we eventually have beings ripping apart galaxies piece by piece just for enjoyment. This has led to many debates on whether Z Goku, not Super Goku, could destroy a universe. Now, I'm making this video to mostly just explain what universal means for those of you who kind of just don't understand power scaling. Obviously, Goku has never just blown up a universe, and that very clearly just isn't the only qualification for being universal, as I've gone over in several other videos. But another reason I'm making this video is for the Neanderthals that think Z Goku is like multi-solar system via Kid Buu or just solar system in 2023. Not that if you think this, you're just dumb. Just that you're missing out on some important contextual factors. And I kind of do want to point out that in my previous videos, like Goku versus the Big Three, I didn't really use this meta for scaling Goku to Universal. And that was mostly just to show that even if you lowballed Goku drastically, he would absolutely slap Naruto, Ichigo, and Luffy at the same time. And I kind of just want to put that whole downplaying meta to rest, as it's complete and utter nonsense, since the story itself literally backs us up, not only in the anime, but the manga as well. So I'll just be going over pretty much every argument when it comes to it. Now, the very first thing that I want to go over is when Goku is definitively universal, or when he can specifically blow up a universe. For many people, they would honestly say it would be around the Frieza saga due to the various statements regarding Frieza and how he can quote-unquote destroy the universe. However, these statements are never actually backed up. It's very clear given the context that he can't literally just blow up the universe in a single attack, due to the fact that we don't really receive any feats anywhere near this level of power. We do receive a potential solar system feat within the saga, at least in the anime version. And if you were to use Frieza's supernova to destroy planet Vegeta, it applies simple power scaling amps based on how Frieza's forms are just multiplying amps by several times. You could easily calculate him to this level of power. However, you'd never quite reach the universal range of power, at least not in the Frieza arc. After the Frieza saga comes the Cell saga, mainly due to Perfect Cell being stated to have infinite power, and having had a few statements indicating his ability to destroy the entire universe over time. Much like the Frieza argument, there are numerous people who will argue that this is in reference to him simply nuking the universe in one attack, which may come as a shock. To some extent, they might be right, especially when considering certain power scaling tiering systems and what actually qualifies a character as universal. This could potentially give Cell the ability to wipe out an infinite 3D space, or be considered high universal. Typically, I wouldn't use this argument since it contradicts the tiering system I usually employ, but there's the argument. Conclusively, Cell would most likely fall in within the range of multi-solar system to potentially galaxy as described in the Daizenshuu, which depicts the solar system within Dragon Ball as galactic nebulae containing innumerable stars. Using calcs and the basis of nebulae and how far each star should be from one another, this could potentially get him into the realm of power of just multi-solar system to potentially galaxy. And if you were to take the infinite power statement at face value, you could potentially get into high universal, due to the Dragon Ball universe being stated to be infinite on several occasions. The Buu saga is more than likely where we'll get into the more complex and complicated scaling, due to most people just immediately dismissing the fact that Kid Buu spent over 1,000 years destroying a galaxy. Not only is this simply Kid Buu's character of wanting to destroy several things because he's just evil incarnate, but we also have statements of him being able to make the universe go poof by Goku's own words. Poof, by definition, is over a small period of time, and potentially almost instantly. There has been much debate over Kid Buu's power for a long time, mainly due to differing interpretations of what should be considered literal versus hyperbolic, and uncertainty about the time frames for certain statements and feats. However, in Dragon Ball Z, he demonstrated the ability to instantly destroy the Grand Kai's planet with a single attack. The main issue with this feat was that the size of Grand Kai's planet was not explicitly stated to be universally large. However, it is shown to be comparable in size to Heaven, which is repeatedly depicted as being the same size as the Living World universe, the base universe excluding the entire macrocosm within Dragon Ball. Kid Buu's capacity to obliterate this entire planet in one attack essentially solidifies his status as a universe buster. Not only does Goku scale to this level of power due to being shown to be relative to Kid Buu in their fight, but this is also not inconsistent, as I mentioned earlier. This is due to the fact that even characters like Buhan, who is arguably weaker than Kid Buu, If you want more elaboration on that, you can go watch Tyler's video that we collabed on his channel. Is able to perform feats like screaming away holes in space and collapsing dimensions onto the universe. This was apparently not going to be done over a significant amount of time, which is evident from Vegeta being urgent to stop Buhan from screaming and destroying the universe. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is shown to be on par with Kid Buu several times during their fight on Supreme Kai's world. This means that considering all the feats and statements I mentioned earlier, Goku at this point in the story should at least scale to Kid Buu's universe-busting power to some extent. By the end of the fight, through Zenkai boosts, etc., when they're stated to be the strongest two warriors in the universe, it's obviously implied that they are in par with each other on some level, despite Kid Buu obviously being superior. So to elaborate further, Goku scales to Kid Buu, who can destroy Grand Kai's planet, which is the size of a universe. Attack potency in Dragon Ball is a bit peculiar, mostly because we know that characters who surpass a certain threshold can easily destroy moons and planets, as seen when Roshi was significantly outmatched by Piccolo and Z, and the moon-busting feat was much simpler. It's a way of equating attack potency to destructive capacity, at least in Dragon Ball, due to how the power system itself functions. Although we never see Goku outright nuke a universe, if that's your genuine argument for why he isn't universal in Z, then I don't really know what to tell you other than to seethe and cope. However, I will say that at least in the manga it is a lot more debatable, though I still believe that with the statements provided, and some anime filler having some canonicity to the manga itself, that yes, he should at least be universal in both continuities. No matter whether you think Kid Buu or Buhan is stronger, it doesn't really matter. At least when talking about Goku's AP and DC within the Buu Saga. Although in Super, his ability to annihilate the entire universe becomes a lot more solidified, as we literally see him and Beerus clashing fist, and not only destroying a universe-sized body, but several universe-sized bodies, as the macrocosm is just that.